Hello everybody and welcome to Bales Sport Collective. Tonight I have my good friend Keith and he brought his Aston Martin. Let's show you what we're going to experience tonight.
If I would have throttled out at the end, I would have stayed on the road.
And I think I said I farted in it.
Yeah, I think you did.
And
yeah.
And then I said, nah, the car's not for me. I underestimate how much money you have in that truck.
Yeah, you do.
Keith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is a long time coming. We've rescheduled, but what I want to get into tonight right away is the beautiful car that you brought tonight, which is a relatively new purchase. So tell me about the car.
Yeah, I just got this a few months ago. So this is a 2020 Aston Martin DBS. If you asked me 6 months ago if I would have owned this car, nope, never. But I saw this. I don't even know how to say how this car ended up in my possession, but I am very happy it is.
Yeah, it's not your entry into getting into the nicer, more luxurious or more performance-driven cars. I don't think it's anybody's first pick. It might not even be their third, but I think you would beg to differ on the performance.
Yeah, this car, Randy, I'll tell you what. This car has exceeded every imagination that I have had for a supercar.
So engine is V12.
Twin turbo V12.
Twin turbo V12. What horsepower is it putting down?
715.
Okay.
Stock. You know, and I feel that's important actually, Randy. When you talk about cars and everybody talks about their horsepower and what they did, you know, when you get a car and Mustang, Corvettes, people throw power at these things all the time, right?
Yeah.
And they're great, and they're great for going straight, right? Because the car wasn't designed for it. This car is designed for 715 horse, and it handles it very well.
Yeah, it is one of the ultimate GT cars that's on the market right now. In my opinion. Yeah. And so, have you taken any long drives in it yet?
I have.
I've
done. I ran it all the way out to Glenwood Springs. I've been out to my favorite, actually. Glenwood Springs is beautiful, right, because of the mountain drives.
Yeah, the engineering through Glenwood Canyon is second to none. It's amazing.
But that was beautiful. But I purpose drove this to Kansas. I only owned it for a couple weeks, and I'm like, I need to see what this car can do.
Yeah.
Let's go out to some flat, long roads.
So you get like a 458 Speciale, and you're like, well, I don't want to put the miles on it. But this, you're like, no, I'm going to be toasty, comfortable, and going fast, linear for a long time.
How long have I owned this? When was the PGA Tour? I bought it the week before the PGA
that's
Tour, right?
You did.
You actually christened this car for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
If you may.
We were at the Morgan Adams soiree, the morning, the new event that we're running now, and you were not yet there.
I bought the car on Thursday. Ryan picked it up.
Yeah.
Friday from my house.
Yeah.
Drove it down. I'm out of town.
Mm-hmm.
You're there. Go ahead.
And I may have rubbed a portion of my pants houses my gentleman's sausage.
Right. And
took a video and then sent it to you and said, eh. And then I think I said I farted in it.
Yeah, I think you did.
And and then I said, nah, the car's not for me.
And I'll tell you what. I mean, that's what friends are for.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, here I have a very expensive car that I have got less miles on than my friends do already.
Yeah.
Right? Trust factor.
Yeah.
And
agreed. You have let several of the camaraderie drive this car as enthusiastic as you do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. And the reason why is because this car is unknown to people. Mm-hmm. Every person who has driven this car, including yourself, is like, this car is above what you expect.
I had never driven an Aston before you let me jump in this, and I know Ryan said, oh, you need to get one, you need to get one. And they're always something of admiration to me, but holy cow, yeah, when you let me get on it, and we were trying to figure out how to turn the nannies off and everything, but I didn't care about that because getting in the car, sitting in those seats, a lot of seats now are a lot more firm than maybe, I still like a Cadillac seat, I still like an old pickup truck seat. This was like the perfect amount of like covering the comfort on the bum.
I don't want to feel the seat feeling me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This
No,
is comfortable. You can
it's
sit back
cool.
and cruise really nice. It's very comfortable. It's made for taller people like us.
I agree.
You know, because
Yeah.
I have a
Oh,
Vantage,
thank
as you
you.
know.
Oh, thank you for the compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You know, because I had a Vantage, or I still do have a Vantage as well, which, you know, that's your entry level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? That's your entry
You
level.
got a good
Aston
deal on it. You were kind of wetting your whistle.
Yep.
Even
And
when you saw, wait, hold on. So my favorite thing when you're Vantage, you show up at Keyvac for an event, and it's a convertible, and it's Smurf blue. I won't
yeah, I
say as much
remember
as
this.
like grabber blue. It's Smurf blue, and here's Keith SPF 50, and I'm talking to somebody like from the background going, I think he's getting more on his seats than he's getting on his
Yeah,
head.
for sure.
Yeah, sunscreen.
It was a hot, sunny day.
It was.
I did not want to. You have to crawl out of that car. You know this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was just like, I don't want
It
to
was
get
definitely
out.
more lubricated when you were done with it.
Yeah, I sprayed it out, but I didn't burn on the way home.
But you owned that car for like a month, 2
And I
months
bought this.
before you got this.
Yeah.
And you kept that car.
Yeah,
And
I still have it. I love it.
Why?
It's a fun little car.
What year is that one?
That's an '08.
Okay.
That's got the naturally aspirated V8 in it. It pushes right around 400 horse. For a light little car like that, it does really well, and it was fun. It's the first. So I work in the heavy truck world where automatic transmissions. I was in the era of when automatic transmissions came about, and they have clutches and all this stuff. Well, this Aston Martin, the other Aston Martin, my Vantage, has a manual automatic clutch. I don't know what they even call them.
Well, BMW, that was the E46, did the same thing where you can do a manual swap in it, and it's essentially a manual that's built to an automatic. I was unfamiliar with this until recently.
So it actually has a clutch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, actually has a clutch. The engine does the car does everything for you. It's still an automatic, but it literally, if you hit the throttle and don't take your foot off, it'll slam your head into
feel
the
the shift.
seats because it disengages the clutch, puts it in gear, and re-engages it, and you slam your head every single time. So you learn how to run them. It's different.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love that little car. It's a fun car. It was my first car into, you know, supercar world, even though it's a basic model car.
everyone
But I
starts
love
somewhere.
it, right?
Yeah,
But
just
that
not
got
everyone
me-
starts, gets that, and then goes 2 months later. I'm like, oh, I'm ready for the
Yeah, I
big
want
dog.
this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to go right to the top.
Where'd you find this car?
This one came out of New Jersey.
Where do you look? Because I'm always curious on where people are kind of fondling the keys on their computer. Where did you? Is it eBay? You're just looking on cars.com? What
No,
is it?
friends.
Really?
How about you just say things to friends,
Oh.
and you're like, I'm looking for a car, and do you know the person I'm talking about?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You got a killer deal on this thing.
I did.
Don't say the number.
Yeah,
I don't
I
want
did.
people to be upset.
Right.
You got a really good deal on
I
it.
did.
You could turn around tomorrow and probably buy your other Aston.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did good.
Yeah, I did really good on this car. I'm very, you know, I didn't even. So I was looking for the interior. I'm the only, to my knowledge,
Mhm.
the only person to drive the 2025 Vantage when it was here. And
Oh.
it had the dark blue, and they call it like midnight on the interior. And I didn't know they had that, right? And I'm like, oh, this is cool. So, and I had driven a couple other DBSs and DB12s and some other stuff. And that's when I was like, oh, I really want one of these, you know. And that's how I got into the DBS, is I test drove one.
That's an interesting topic to talk about because I feel like, yeah, we'll all spit around the idea of performance when it comes to handling or the looks of it, or maybe, you know, it's got a banging stereo in it from the factory, which everything does at this point.
Mhm.
I feel like when you're spending that kind of money. But the interior spec, you hear a lot of complaints about, like, I always go back to what I like is like Corvette interiors are cheap, they're plastic, and people are like, I don't care, I came to drive the car. But you were quite fond of the interior, and this speaks to you when you're inside of it.
This car is, I don't know the numbers. You know, I know they make 499 of these a year, DBS Superleggeros. They make 199 of them are convertibles. The rest are coupes. They make out of 10, and then there's 10 of them that they do something else to them. So when it comes to this car, you know, there's only a handful. And then when you get to this interior, right? So this is the dark blue with ivory. So it's the combination. It's not even the full dark blue. When I saw this interior, that's what sold me on this car. So the price and all that stuff worked out for me. but that's not what I was looking for. And even the outside of the car, I love the silver. I didn't think I would love it. When it showed up, it actually has, and out in the sun when we do the
A lot of flake.
it's got blue flake in it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Oh my gosh, when you see it in the sun,
yeah, I can.
this
see
thing's
that now.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because when I bought the car, I bought it for the interior and the car itself, of course. But I bought it for the interior, and I was like, well, I can wrap it. I can wrap it to any color, anything I want. And then it showed up, and I saw it. Mind you, I bought this car sight unseen on videos, and you know,
It's a newer car. You don't have to feel as bad about it.
and I had it certified there, and then
You
I
had a
had it
warranty.
certified here, and
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff. But yeah, yeah, you don't make jumps like this, generally speaking, in the car world.
Well, what if I told you that when I look at this car, I can't get out of my head that it's kind of like throwing a stone off a cliff when it comes to resale value? What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I did a lot of research on that. I do agree, but you know, supercars in general have that. You know, there's not a lot of cars out there.
You don't get to experience the creme de la creme, I think, without doing that.
Yeah.
There's a certain indulgence in it.
When you get to the level of these cars, and I don't want to be arrogant or anything like that,
Yeah.
you know, you expect some cost, if you may.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I buy this car new, I would be losing, you'd be throwing that rock over the edge. But the deal I got on this car in particular, again, wasn't necessarily shopping for the deal, just happened to be in the right place.
Best way to get them.
You know, at the right time. I'm not going to lose much on this over the next couple of years. And then further on, I won't lose much at all because, you know, I did the research on the last 5 years of this car and the value holds. But it's only 4 years old. Value did not hold from original purchase price.
No.
I feel sorry for there's only one owner in front of me.
Yeah.
And that guy.
I'm sure that person paid to play.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I'm super happy with the car. I've got a few complaints.
What are they?
But very little. Takeoff. The computer is too controlling for me.
Yeah.
I can't burn the tires off. My advantage, I can put it in launch mode and burn the tires off. Now, maybe I haven't figured it out yet.
Maybe.
I've read my manual. I actually just learned today that I actually have a trunk button on the trunk. I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's how new the car is, right?
No, it's okay. I think we've all had a moment with a car where we're like, where's the hood release? Where's the trunk release? I can't find the gas flap or something dumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
My Vantage, my first
your
Vantage,
modern
I
day
could
quirks
not
of the car.
Oh, you want to go gas cap? This is my favorite. Back up on cars. I own a Pontiac Fiero, 1984 Pontiac Fiero. If you've never opened the gas gap on that, you will not get in there.
Really?
Mm-mm. I had to Google it. I'm sitting at the gas station. First time I went to fill that car. Now, mind you, I was in that car a lot when I was a kid. A friend of mine owned one, and we went together all over the place. I never put gas in the damn thing, right? I buy one a few years ago. I go to gas it up for the first time. Couldn't find it. Could not.
Smallest tank you own, longest time to fill it up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's behind the seat. It's a little lever behind the seat. Who's looking behind the seat?
Oh.
I mean, and it's by your head. It's like right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
First time we met, it was on the catwalk of not a fashion show.
Nope.
But Vandermeer nonetheless.
I mean, it could have been.
Rest in peace. Could have been. You're a handsome man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you do well.
We're on the back. I think I'm burning one on the back. Ken introduces us. And he's like, yo, you got to talk to Keith. This is how Ken talks. You got to talk to Keith.
Yep.
He's got a cool old truck as well. And then I find out that there's a lawnmower bolted to the bed of it.
For sure. My 1967 C20 converted to a C10. So we went to half ton, ride quality.
Understood.
But yeah, I love the truck. When I saw the truck before I bought it, it was sitting at my neighbor's many, many, many years ago. Saw the truck and I'm like, farm truck. I'm a farm kid.
We broed out on that because I have a C10 as well. No, I have a C20. I have a 20.
Yeah.
Long bed, yeah.
Long bed C20. That's what this is.
Yeah.
And so I just like, that truck is just like, that's me. I love driving that truck.
But you got a motor in it that sounds like it has a blower on it. And I don't know how. Like, I like to say I'm pretty schooled on vintage motors.
It does,
When
doesn't
you rolled up, I hear like this kind of whistle whine.
Yeah.
Like, is that a Pro Charger in there? And he's like, no. But it sounds awesome. What motor's in it?
I put a 402 out of a 67 Chevelle in there.
Okay.
Really nice. It built it really nice, a good, powerful motor. Well, one of the things I don't like about old trucks is pumping the freaking gas. I do not like carburetors. I'm sorry, I do not like carburetors.
You snipered it.
I snipered it. That's
Perfect.
a sniper EFI in there, and that's what whistles. It's as simple as that.
That's if we had to do like a Rolodex of like God's gift to the car industry, sniper would be up there.
Oh my gosh.
Like
And I just put the what is it, 4L80E in it.
Mhm.
It hooks right up to the sniper.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, Tommy programmed it in.
Yep. Tommy Stark,
Yes.
builds,
Precision design.
which doesn't have a sign on the outside of the
Nope.
building, builds Riddler cars.
Yes.
To go into
Has
the shop,
the Riddler Award.
it's unique to go into that warehouse. I felt privileged to be in there.
You are outside. This is a dump.
Yeah.
You're like, and then you walk in, and it's like, oh my
I was
gosh.
gonna say it's not fair to say because it's a
No, it's not a dump on the inside.
very clean blue collar machine shop is what I would describe that as.
It's like it makes me happy when I go there.
Yeah.
Right? I go there and I see all the stuff he has and
You
the
see
things he's doing, and it's
65 fastback on wagon wheels for testing and full tube chassis, all made by the vendor that's 25 feet away from there.
yeah.
And it's I don't even want to get into the numbers on getting on the list. That's why I'm blown away. I'm like,
So Tommy did probably
I want
80 to 90% of the work on that truck.
dude,
It's amazing.
jealous. I'm jealous.
It is
right
full
now.
on. That there is the only thing that's original on that truck is the metal on the outside. We didn't touch that, but the frame, engine, transmission, rear ends, everything is Tommy.
I
And he-
underestimate how much money you have in that truck.
Yeah, you do.
And you know what you call that? Ranch money. Oh,
Yes.
while we're on trucks,
Yeah.
semi brands.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like Western Stars.
Uh-huh, yeah.
You got your
Mac.
Mac, all this.
Yeah.
What's your favorite brand?
So I tell people this all the time, right? Okay, if I was going to own a truck for myself
A cab.
and just be myself only, I personally would own a Kenworth. Now people are going to, Peterbilts are snobby, but I'm not, so I don't like big price things, right?
Okay.
Here we got this sitting right here, right?
Tell me more.
You know, $8,000 mirror,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not into, so if you're trying to make money, you don't buy the most expensive thing to make money with, right? Generally speaking. And so Kenworths, in my opinion, are a very, very nice truck.
Good value.
Great value. Now, if I was a fleet owner, I would own Freightliners.
No Volvos?
No. Oh my gosh, Volvos give me headaches. I mean, they're great trucks. Don't get me wrong. I think they do really. I work on quite a few Volvos, but Freightliners are so easy. They're everywhere. A lot of times you can get the software for them yourself. Where Volvo is so, and that's a key, right? Having the software to work on things,
Yeah.
right? So where you can buy generic software to work on Freightliners and some Peterbilts and Kenworths and stuff like that. But Kenworths are a little bit more expensive. A lot more expensive. Peterbilts are even more expensive than that. Peterbilts, in my opinion, are the creme de la creme. I think that's that. If you have a Peterbilt, you're the. But I wouldn't own one. Back to again, I don't want what everybody else has though either, right? But then again, if I'm trying to make money with a fleet, I would own Freightliners. They're just simple.
I like talking about trucks, man.
Yeah.
It's like childhood things for me.
And
make the
no
world go
chrome. Oh my gosh. I grew up with chrome. Don't get me wrong. I think it's beautiful. But if you're a fleet guy, no chrome. All aerodynamic, easy stuff.
Everything from the Aero to the Super Singles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, not super. That's out. That's going away. Super singles are going away.
Oh, good.
Yeah. The problem is, super single. You blow one, you're done. Right? You can't even. It's hard to even chain them up. Where you blow a single dual, you keep going.
All right, let's get off trucks.
Yep. I could go on trucks forever.
I know you could.
Yeah.
I would nerd out on that.
Yeah.
There's always like a side conversation in all the interviews. I'm like, but I want to know about this because
Right.
I love nerding out about some certain thing. No one wants to talk about insurance, but I like to nerd out on it. You know that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
You hooked me up.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to have you, man. It's
Yeah.
just like taking care of friends, just like
Yep.
taking care of my tractor.
Well, I mean, and I'm going to give you a little bit of prop on this because, I got into this supercar world and I didn't know what I was getting into, right? And so I used my regular insurance, which I'm not going to announced, which I thought was great insurance, and I've had them for 20 some years. Military guy.
Yeah.
And I think they're great insurance. And overall they do good, but they don't know anything about supercars.
Mm-hmm.
And so I called you up and I was like, hey, I said, what can you do for me on this? And you looked at my policies and you were like, dude, you're screwed if you get in an accident. If somebody hits you, you're screwed.
Yeah, it matters. When you had your little Bob Ross moment, your happy little accident, I was like, I was immediately there. I let everyone kind of flock over, see everything, and then I wanted to go and say, hey, what are we at?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it's just the undercarriage little splitter, maybe the air dam.
You know what ended up happening?
What?
I got a scratch in my PPF on the right side, and I lost a plastic screw on the front.
Yeah, pop rivet, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's it.
What's the worst car you've ever owned?
I can't even tell you if I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be right on. I think it was a Honda Civic.
What?
No. Is a Honda Toyota Civic? No, what's a Civic? Honda Civic, yeah.
Lay off the Blantons, man.
Yes. Honda Civic, right? I think that's what it was.
Toyota Prelude.
Toyota Prelude. Toyota Prius.
A Mercedes F-Type.
Honda Civic. It was this little, I bought it for fuel economy, right?
Chevy F-150.
And it hurt my back.
Oh, okay.
I literally ended up not being able to walk from driving that car because it was too small for me. That's the worst. What is a Toyota
Honda
Prius?
Ford Corvette.
This is good stuff, by the way.
Thank you, Jason Bailey, for the housewarming gift.
Anyway, yeah, so that's
What's the best car you've ever owned?
this one right now.
Hands down?
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
This car is above and beyond any expectations I've ever had in a car.
Okay. All right. So, serious car question. If you had to replace the wheels on your Aston Martin with a certain type of cheese, what would it be?
Provolone, for sure.
Smoked cheddar, you're wrong.
No, provolone. Yeah.
That's fine. We can't be friends anymore.
No, we're out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. Is there anything else you
Are
want
we
to talk?
doing wagon wheel? I mean, are we making wagon wheels out of the cheese or?
Where do you get this accent from? Do you measure things? Do you drive? You rode around in a wagon as a kid?
Don't you know it?
Yeah, there it is.
I'm from northern Wisconsin.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm practically Canadian.
Good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about tonight, Keith?
Yeah, I just, the passion of this stuff, this car life, people are good. The supercar world, I've been enjoying the supercar world. I met you through this.
Yeah, we did.
With your, what year Corvette was that the clutch was smoking on?
Oh,
and then you launched.
You were yelling at me from the sidelines going, dump it in second.
Yeah,
and I did.
You couldn't take
and
off.
I smoked the clutch that
instantly.
day.
That was the first time we met.
Yeah.
I told you to dump it in second. You did. You smoked the clutch and the car couldn't hardly even go home.
Yeah, the days that I remembered to turn the traction control on and off. So
yeah, that was good times. But anyway, I think if I have anything to say about this car, cars in general, is the people I've met. Mm-hmm. Including you. But the people I've met in this world has been great, and it makes me happy.
It does. I can see it.
And
you're finding your joy.
It brings me joy.
All right. Biggest pet peeve of anything automotive?
Of course, being a mechanic is everybody coming to you, me as a mechanic, asking me to fix something for them, and they're like, well, my car is doing this. But that's not my pet peeve. My pet peeve is leaving out details. Everything's important. When you're diagnosing something, everything's important. Temperature outside, honestly. Winter, summer, right? Mm-hmm. What were you doing? Were you driving it hard? Were you this, that, and the other thing? You come to me and tell me my car's not running right, and I'm thinking, okay, whatever. And then you tell me that you were at Bandamere dropping it in second gear. Well, now I got something else to lead up. So my pet peeve is people leaving out details when they're asking me to help them in the car world.
All right. Pet peeves on that. If you had to pick turbo or supercharged, what are you going with?
Well, I've never owned a supercharged car, so this is my first turbo car. Well, no, I got a Pro Charger. Where does that fall in?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
When I think of superchargers, not that Pro Chargers aren't by definition superchargers, but I think of, I'm thinking screws. I'm thinking Roots supercharger on the top.
Right.
I feel like that's
not as much lag as a turbo, generally speaking.
Yeah. Wine.
You know, this thing has a little bit of lag on it.
Mm-hmm.
My Pro Charger is worse. My Pro Charger, but there's tuning you can get rid of that stuff. I've always been a supercharged fan before I ever done this because I've dealt with this on trucks, right? Turbos and superchargers, the old Detroits. I used to love the old Detroits with the superchargers on them. I don't know why. The two-stroke Detroits, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
I love them.
Detroit diesel.
Yeah. And I don't know why I love
Hold
those.
on. Can you work on my Humvee?
Probably.
Mechanical fuel injection?
Yeah.
You know how rare that is?
Yeah.
I guess that would be more of a semi-truck thing.
Yep. Yeah, I've done a ton of those. When I first started in this career field, I was doing mechanical fuel injection on Detroit diesels, two-stroke Detroit diesels.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that used to be a world of mine. I mean, it's been a long time, and I have to research it again because, back to forgetting more than some people know, right? But yeah, I don't think I have a good answer on that. I think they have applications in different situations. I really like the turbos on this. I like the turbos on this more than I like the Pro Charger on my C6. But at the same time, this was designed with them back to being stock.
Mm-hmm.
The C6 is an add-on.
Yeah.
And do we have everything set up properly? I don't know. So
what's better, modifying your car or keeping it alone? Just leaving it alone?
I think a little bit of. I think there's always some room for improvement. I think getting crazy to where you have to constantly. I like my cars to be reliable, so I like to do a little bit of improvement because I like to be a little bit better than the guy who pulls up next to me. Right? If he pulls up in the same car and he's stock. But I don't want to go crazy to where I have to worry about. I want to be able to go on a 200-mile, 300-mile, 1,000-mile trip and not have to worry.
Do you have any dream trips that you'd take a car on?
Yeah, Highway 1.
Oh, yeah, man. I used to do that every year.
Really?
And nonetheless, in a rental V6 Mustang, when they hit like 300 horsepower and they're fun, convertible, you can't buy so much joy as to do Highway 1. I do it every single year. And I actually had a Ferrari set up to do Highway 1. And we had a little debacle with my wife when we were kind of dating. And anyway, we ended up doing it we ended up repping a RAV4 for that one. That was fine.
Yeah.
But Highway 1, highly suggested. It is just as majestic as you think it would be, Big Sur. Oh man, one of the best roads.
Yeah. So I would love to do that, or any supercar when it comes to that. Actually, a convertible would probably be.
You can help with this. So I have a dream to have a semi.
Yep.
Ever since I was a kid, I want to be a truck driver.
Yep.
And this shop is wide enough to fit a full truck in. I want to get a trailer. So everyone wants to be like RV guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to get 4 guys or 3 guys together. I want to have a nice truck. I want to load up the cars, send the ladies on a plane over to the destination.
They need that.
Highway 1 example, or the Dragon, or North Georgia, or something like that. Load up the cars. The guys can cruise out, have their fun on the road trip. The ladies fly out, and then you post up and unload the cars and do your maybe 2 or 3 day tour.
Mm-hmm.
Load back up, same thing. Send the ladies back. We drive the hard miles back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to start doing more like automotive excursions like that. And
that's neat.
Isn't that fun to think like you can? The women don't have to complain about we want them to come with and enjoy it. But we don't want to have to drag them along because we want a boys trip in between.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A little 2-day sleeper cab. You can tag,
Mm-hmm.
team drive it.
Yeah.
That's why I asked about the trucks tonight. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're going with a cool truck. We're gonna have chrome. We're gonna have all the cool stuff.
Spread wheelbase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stretch wheelbase.
Yeah. We're going 300 inches for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because long is
at least a wedge.
Long and low.
And but it'd be nice to have it enclosed. But a wedge would be fine. You can do a nice wedge. So
yeah.
Anyway, you wrapping it up?
I love that.
Any questions you want to ask me before we go?
So you don't own any of these. You don't have new cars. Why is that?
I don't own new cars because I still would diagnose myself as someone who is a driver's car kind of guy. And the reason is
hence the Viper with no traction control.
I don't
Well, yours does have it, doesn't it?
Mine has ABS because it's final year.
Okay.
But I don't want to spoil myself yet. I got years to go. That's in many topics in life. I still want to reward the high school boy and college guy that worked his butt off to get the things that he wanted back then. I like to let everybody else have a little bit of a leg up. Like, man, I'm going to roll up in something cool, but you're going to roll up in something cooler, and I'm happy for you for it. Also, I like to beat on the cars a lot more than I think you should. And I'd be the guy that voids warranties.
Yeah.
Because there's a video out there of what I did to that car. So, but thanks for asking that question.
Yeah, I think it's cool what you have. I think it's cool what you do, and you got like
Cam
your thing.
described it. He's like, I kind of aspire to having a collection like yours in the sense that every single one of the cars that you own has soul, and it's true.
It is.
There's a lot of character, and that's both a positive and a negative. But I like the cars that have a character. They are not the best things out there. But I remember when we were doing Automobili and we were supposed to bring the Terminator and the Vet, and Nate was going to drive the Terminator, and it dropped another alternator within 48 hours. And I had to quick go up to Worldwide Vintage with Britt and pull one of my cars that was stored there, and it's a 96 Cobra. And that car hadn't been driven in a year. We quick swapped a battery in 30 minutes, and that car went 1,000 miles after not being driven. It had something going on with the charcoal filter, and it was like spewing out. But he had a blast in that car. It was capable, fun. It smells awesome. Bryce was having a good time filming in it. But that car, like, Nate was on fire for it. And it was the first time he ever drove it. He can drive manual really well. All the cars that I own are manuals. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's something about you I didn't know.
Well, yeah. Well, on that, we'll toast.
All right.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming out. This is
Absolutely.
a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.